Hello, welcome to Jazz After Dark. How you doing tonight? This is our laid-back show here where we just kind of hang out, have a drink, and I teach you some things that you might have not have known. Today we're going to be talking about 4 things that we're actually talking to clients about so far in 2025 to give you kind of an inside scoop here for things like this. I'm not trying to hide anything, just, hey, what questions are people asking? We will be trying, I've had this before. Ooh, so today we're trying Yellowstone Select Kentucky, caramel, dried cherry, I'll give you that, orange zest, peanut. I didn't actually know that. If you didn't know, this is Flaviar. We don't really get anything for it, but they send us these little sample testers so you can see if you like something before you buy it. I've actually had Yellowstone. I did like it. I don't know why I don't go back to it, but I do believe it was good. It's good. Yeah, I mean, it's everything you think. When you think Yellowstone, like, that manly kind of flavor there. The dried cherry sticks out to me a lot more than I think this card would indicate, but nothing wrong with that. All right, what are we talking about? No, it's not edited. 4 things that we're talking to clients about here. Really important, actually. So I'm going to try to expand on some of these. The first thing we're talking about is these stinking catch-up changes. You know how when you're over the age of 50, you can catch up. Ooh, you can put in a little extra money to usually your 401k plan, the IRAs, etc. Well, if you're over the age of 50, you can now put in $7,500 more into your workplace plan. Okay, we're going to come back to that. I'm not just saying like go out and put $7,500 more. Like who's got that extra money to just put away just because you can? Like what's the idea of catch up? So we'll come back to that. The changes here are if you're between the ages of 60 and 63, and in fact, it has to be 60, 61, 62, or 63, you can do $11,250 more. That's interesting. Now, on the surface, you think, okay, great, I can put more money in there. Is there something we can do about that? I also want to point out in the simple IRA, lots of changes there. The simple IRA, if you're over the age of 50, you could do $3,500 or more there. Simple IRAs were really popular for a while, so I know a lot of people still have them. Couple other changes here. If you have fewer than 25 employees, then the catch-up for the simple IRA is $3,850, right? So if you're, like, again, you got to have fewer than 25 employees. What happens if you have like 26 employees or 50 employees or 100 employees? You can do the larger catch-up, but only if you do a 4% match, which used to be 3%, in those accounts, right? So a little change there if you're willing to increase a little bit there. Stick with the simple for a second. They also have that super catch-up. So the 60, 61, 62, 63 people, they've got that catch-up. It's $5,250. Used to be either $3,500 or $3,850, just some variables there, change that. So between your workplace plan, if you're over the age of 50 and or you're 60 to 63, we've got some different catch-up plan amounts there. Simple IRAs, depending on how many people you work for or work for you and how old you are, also changes in catch up. So, we didn't have that before, that super catch up. So just trying to keep everybody updated on that. That question's come up a lot for our 60 to 63-year-olds. Hey, if I can put more away, should I? And what's the advantage there? So that's number 1. Number 2, we've been talking about tax law changes a lot. I think everybody is. It's especially interesting this time because the odds of tax law changes are much higher when we have one-party control, which we currently have. Add to that the individual specs of the Trump tax cuts expire this year. Well, they're supposed to, right? We'll see what happens there. So we have to start planning for changes. There is a very high probability that tax laws do not stay the same as they are right now. So we want to be ahead of that one. And we get a lot of questions on that one because people are, well, what do I do? Do I bother with conversions now? Do I bother increasing my contributions? Should I change my investment strategy? So those things are coming up. The third thing, it is very likely that there will be more Roth opportunities coming our way. Think about it. When the government, especially a one-sided government at this point, when they work out tax plans, well, a lot of times that comes at a cost. And when it comes at a cost, the Congress loves to come to the Roth and manipulate that. It's because it means immediate revenue for them. You're putting after-tax dollars away. So it may cause you to put more after-tax dollars away, which will support some of the cuts that maybe they're giving to the middle class or maybe businesses, whatever they decide there. So we now have Roth SEPs and Roth Simples, right? That was part of the Secure Act changes there. So that's something there. So let's look for some changes in the Roth world. Very likely we're going to see some stuff there. In the Roth world, by the way, high income earners having that mandatory catch up that takes effect in 2026. So we're watching that just to see what is the guidance on that, right? Remember how this works is Congress comes up with these great ideas, and then it usually takes a while for the IRS to say, yeah, but how do we implement that? Like, what is the exact rule here? And so we usually get guidance from the IRS. I'm expecting to see some more on that one. Also, you have the Roth 401k matching now, right? So on the Roth side, there's actually a lot going on. And we've had a really sort of a great group of clients that keep asking these questions about, well, what does that mean for me? So number 3 is the Roth opportunities that are in place, will be taking effect, and likely to come along. Something we got to look at. And you should be asking your advisor about that, planner, whoever you're working with. If you're not working with anybody, the little sign there at the bottom tells you exactly where to go. The final and fourth thing we're talking about is the Secure Act and Secure Act 2.0 strategies. Remember, those all came into effect over the last couple of years as far as being a new law. However, a lot of things didn't get implemented until 24, 25, and now going into 26 there. So one great example was this inherited IRA RMD rule. We went from having the stretch the stretch rule, right, where you could stretch out your payments over the course of your lifetime, in most cases, to now that's gone. Now you have to do it within 10 years. Well, there was a big debate between Congress and the IRS. Well, how do you want us to do this? If they have 10 years to deplete that account, does that mean that they have to deplete 1/10 every year? Or can they wait till year 10 and then just take it all out? What's the rule? Well, the IRS has come clean on that, and they said, hey, now we want and actually they messed it up for a while. They had one example on their website, and then they had a graph that showed a different example. So it was a big debate, like in the advisor world. What do we tell our clients? What's the rule? So now it's clear. Something like that from the Secure Act is, hey, if you inherit an IRA, which we're going to do a video on that, like how do you answer questions? It's got a great flow chart and everything that we'll show, so stay tuned for that. But we now know that you have to take a minimum distribution every single year and have it depleted by the 10th year. So there's a required minimum distribution there. Spousal inherited IRAs as well, those rules have become active as well. So all that fine print inside the Secure Act and Secure Act 2.0 starting to become clear. One thing that's not clear, just sort of talking off the cuff here, is the rule now that a child or now an adult can roll the remaining balance of their 529 into a Roth IRA. There's limits and a maximum amount and everything. I think it's $35,000, but it's not clear how that could actually go. So it's not really happening yet. So we expect to see a lot of changes or a lot of guidance on that from the IRS, and we'll make videos about that as well. Yellowstone. Feel like a man, don't you? Anyways, why are we talking about all this? Because this brings the whole plan back into question. And this is why we as a company don't just say, give us a bunch of money and your information, and we'll do some big financial plan for you, send you on your way, and never talk to you again. When you work with Jazz, we do your investing for you, but we also do the planning along the way, because we can't do that one time. You see it. It's going to happen this year. It always changes. And by that fact, your life changes. You have family members that are welcomed into your life, whether it's your kids getting married or you have another kid or you got divorced. There could be all kinds of things that change in your life. And so planning for us is a constant. It also means all those things that we just talked about. It also means that the withdrawal strategy is more important than ever. How you take money out of the various accounts, right? And that leads me back to the last thing here that we said we'd come back to. The catch-up. Remember the first thing we talked about? That catch-up, the super catch-up, I guess we'll call it. Why would we do that? Well, it's not just about putting more money away. I really don't like that as an answer. I watch all the other advisors on YouTube and they're like, well, save more, max out your IRA and stuff. Yeah, great. Okay. Thank you for that. It's like basic information. Okay. Well, what if, as we're contributing money, and if we're allowed to contribute more, would that put us in a different tax bracket now? which means we'd pay less tax by actually catching up instead of just saying catch up. And if that's the answer, then how much is it? So even though you can say, I'm 61 years old, I can put $11,250 more. Do I need to put all that in there? What if all I need to do is put $6,221 and that actually saves me $1,200 in taxes this year by actually catching up? See what I'm saying? Like, so there has to be multiple levels to this. Otherwise, this sort of generic advice, you could get that from anywhere. So I like the idea of focusing more on that. And Chris here, you've maybe seen him in some videos. He is our resident tax planning nerd. Like, he doesn't miss a freaking penny, and he eats this stuff up. So if by chance you learned something here tonight, you want to work with Jazz, roll over your accounts, start new accounts, whatever it is, we'd love to work with you. And it's highly likely that Chris will be tearing your financial life apart and making you much, much more efficient. jazzwealth.com if you'd like to schedule a call or work with us. And we don't have any gotchas or whatever, no contracts or anything like that. Just cool people that love money. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening, and thanks for hanging with me. Yellowstone gets a thumbs up from me. But again, I've had it before. We'll try something different next time. Adios.